Do you hate ads? I hate ads. You know what I love? Patreon.com/inkdependence, where patrons get access to a patron-only Discord, ad-free videos, and the joy of knowing they help support this channel. Hello folks, welcome to Inkdependence. I'm Mike, and today I have an ink for you that comes in this classy box. This is Teranishi guitar, Taisho Roman, classy Burgundy. Classy Burgundy right there. The rest of it spread all over the place, internet and all that jazz. Really long name and a big box for a very cool ink. I really like these Taisho Roman Teranishi guitar inks. They come in a bottle like this. This is 40 mils, and this was actually sent out to me by a viewer. So thanks very much, Andrew, for sending this out for me to, check out and review and all that jazz. I really like all these Teranishi guitar inks. They've all been great, and Classy Burgundy is, here is a preview, not an exception to that rule. Let's look at it on some papers and all that jazz. Here it is. This is on my Nebula Casual Note 90 grams per square meter paper. Flow on this, pretty medium. I had this in two pens that I really like, and very, very different pens, as you can see from the writing bit there. This is a really good Burgundy ink. Like, it is whiny. It is sheeny. The flow is great. It ends up looking cool on the paper. Just really no complaints about this one. So I've had it in these two pens. This one right here is a Sailor 1911 large size, and it's what they call gathered. It's got these little ribs all the way down it, and this one is an extra fine nib. And a lot of times I'll say I don't like extra fines, and I'm like, I don't like Sailor extra fines especially. They're too fine. You know what? Turns out I really like this one. This one's real good. It's got that old Sailor logo up there in the finial. This is a very cool pen that I found at a pen show a while back, and this is a perfect ink in this pen. It's a Burgundy pen, Burgundy ink. It's kind of great. Next up is this one, which is a Lamy Persona. They don't make this one anymore, but it is like an old flagship model pen for them, and these are great. I bought this one also at a different pen show, and kind of love it. The nib on this is unique. It wraps around the feed there. It's got this interesting like sort of ribbed section there. It looks like it would be very slippery, but actually is very nice. The barrel's macrolon. The cap is this kind of gunmetal look to it. It's really interesting and maybe unique. I haven't actually been able to find this in any of the Lamy catalogs or anything like that, so I don't know what the deal is with it, but I'll tell you what, it writes great, especially with this ink. So this ink, it is classy indeed. You could totally use this in formal settings. You can kind of get away with this one as a near black on some of the really absorbent papers. It's just it's pretty good, and the price on this is not bad at all. So 40 ml glass bottle, 20, like early, low 20s is what I'm going to go with, because it's not sold in that many stores, and when it is, it's not like a consistent price point. It doesn't seem. It's kind of like low 20s, so it's somewhere between $21 and $23. Let's go ahead and give this a little bit of a shake and a shimmy. You can see there on the chromatography. Oh wow, you can actually see it here too. There's a lot of really interesting colors going on to make up this ink. You've got blues and violets and oranges. There's pink in there. It's kind of a little bit of everything. Usually when you throw a little bit of everything into an ink, you end up with a brown, but this time, no, beautiful burgundy color. This is a weird one. Well, let's see what's left over. I'm not sure at all what's going to go on here. But, oh, neat. Okay, so it is definitely not waterproof or resistant as a Burgundy. As a Burgundy, it comes right off the page, but it does leave behind this kind of like bluish violet sort of color that you'd definitely be able to pick up, what you were writing and get on with your day. It would still be there. That's pretty impressive. I think that's interesting. And it is kind of what's shown out over here on the chromatography paper. So yeah, real interesting, complicated ink mix, but you get a cool color and a good sheen and good characteristics out of that. I really like it. So very neat. All right, so for color comparisons, where is it? There it is. On our Staples 20-pound, 30% recycled copy paper, you get a little bit of feathering, kind of like average bleed, maybe a little bit of spread from the medium here. From this one, you're not really getting anything, a little bit of feathering and that sort of thing, but that actually might be due to how fine this nib is. This extra fine is pretty fine, and sometimes that can allow it to like cut the fibers a little bit, especially in a paper that's kind of low end like this copier paper, but not really anything to write home about in terms of bleed. Like if you look at the rest of this page, that's pretty consistent with every other ink on here, I think. So yeah, not bad at all, even from the wetter nibs and even from the one where it's like cutting some fibers and that sort of thing. So yeah, not perfect on copy paper, but not bad at all, honestly. Next up, apparently I did this twice, and I don't know why. I must have just forgotten to mark down that I had done a writing sample for this. So I did it twice, and many pages apart. I was like, oh, weird, I never did that. And then I went back and did it again. So we have it here on Morum and Croaky, and also on Sanzan Tomoe River from both of these nibs, although I did kind of, put the... There we go. We'll match these up a little bit there. So interesting. But yeah, it looks good on both of these. This one I smeared when I was writing it. That's not like, smearing later on or something. I just smeared it. Actually, you know what happened there? I think a cat stepped on this one is what happened there. My cats love being on my desk when I'm writing stuff. So there you go. But there's that fancy shape from Distinguished Features. It's like about like, the weird shapes on different architecture, the quadrifoils. And this one is about recognition patterns. It's about the Battenberg patterns from emergency vehicles in the UK and elsewhere. So you can hit pause and check those out if you would like to, although they are disparate. It's just kind of the way it goes sometimes. I don't know, man. And then there's the back. Nothing coming through on either of these, of course. No surprise there. All right, next up, we have my currently inked Inky Fingers notebook. Two notations in here. One here for the extra fine from April of 2023. That must have been right after that Atlanta pen show where I got that pen. In fact, I think this is actually the only ink that's ever been in this pen. I just like it so much, I keep refilling it. It's kind of great. So yeah, looking good. And then this one from the Persona, yeah, right there, which 630. I don't think that's the first time I used that. Well, I don't know. Maybe that was. Yeah, interesting. That's probably like one of the early inks anyway in here. They don't mark the nibs on the Lamy Persona back then. It's nice 18K nib, gives you a beautiful color. So kind of it was like a year later. Pretty much a year later, I was still using this ink. So I've been using this ink since early 2023. So yeah. Oh, no, it's not a year later. It's 2 months. It's only 2 months. It's only 2 months later, y'all. But I have just refilled those with the same ink over and over again because I like it a lot. All right. Galen Leather Co. Everyday Book. This is the Tomoe River one. There it is. The tiny, tiny script up there. This has been really good for using in my planners because the planners usually don't give you a whole lot of room. And so this little tiny EF nib has been great in the planners. And as you can see on the Tomoe River there, very pleasing looking. Then here, right up here. If you want something that shows off the color a bit more, I wanted to go with something with a wider nib, so I went with this larger nib on the Persona because you can't really see too much of the burgundy from the extra fine. It's just not putting down a wide enough line, but you can definitely see that beautiful burgundy from the medium. Looks good. All right, now I have a lot of colors in this family, so I went ahead and pulled a bunch of them. Here is Classy Burgundy with that nice green sheen there from Drew or Andrew. Then here we have Robert Oster Blood Moon, which is pretty cool. And actually, I had this in a pen. I was going to do a review on it. And then I just used it up and I cleaned the pen. I don't know. Oops. But Blood Moon, also very cool. Lacks the sheen, but is kind of a very similar color to that one. Then we have Pannonia Musvurush, which is young wine, which is, I think, a little bit lighter than Burgundy is, the Classy Burgundy. Then we have Private Reserve Burgundy Mist, which is, I think, kind of in the same area as the rest of these. They're all kind of wine colored inks, and as you can see, maybe a little bit brighter than Classy Burgundy. Classy Burgundy tends to be a pretty dark one, but not as dark as Diamine Writer's Blood, which is far darker, I think, than Classy Burgundy ever is. Then we have Diamine Burgundy Royale, which is my favorite cartridge ink. I use these cartridges all the time when I'm using cartridges in a pen, and this is kind of way darker. You do get some sheen from Burgundy Royale, but not to the extent you get from Classy Burgundy. Then I've got one here that you probably can't get anymore. This is Levenger Pomegranate, which I think was my first Levenger ink. Probably was, and I just don't. I've run through that bottle. It's kind of gone, so I don't think they make it anymore, which is too bad because that was a good ink, nice sheen, good color, very close to Classy Burgundy, but I don't remember it behaving as well as Classy Burgundy does. And then one last one. This is Sailor's Kobe number 6 Bordeaux, which I think is very much in the same color area as Classy Burgundy, and it does have a bit of sheen, as you can see there on the card, but not to the extent of the Taisho Roman one. So yeah, check out this Taisho Roman Teranishi guitar, Classy Burgundy, and all the rest of those colors, because every one of these that I've tried has been a total banger. They've all been great. Just super cool colors, good performance, nice sheen. I mean, I just don't have a mean thing to say about any of these Taisho Romans. They've all been great, and I've really enjoyed them. So there you go. Let me know what your favorite Burgundy is down there in the comments. Tell a friend, like, subscribe, become a patron if you'd like to, and you'll be seeing me in another video soon. Until then, peace out.